Alright, my homies. We're expecting now SK Telecom to make massive changes. Last time they played Blue Side, the game that I didn't watch, they did in fact win. So Blue Side might be the OP1. SK Telecom being against the ropes, they've had a lot of history of bouncing back very easily. And usually it was after games that were closer than the one that we saw previously. SKT, though, is a championship team. This is the definition of a championship team. Being against the ropes, doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually against the ropes. They can come back out swinging. Peanut gets subbed in. I like him more. Fake is smiling. He's like, fuck yeah, got it, man. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Let's see that the differential here and the previous pick and ban, SKT were on red side, so it's changed a lot. But blue side Jana ban, blue side Tristana ban leaves Jarvan open. Sejuani is also banned on blue side. So you could argue that maybe Jarvan is the better pick than Galio because the premium junglers are out, but Gragas is still in the mix and Rakan is out, which drops Zaya value down quite a bit here. I think if anything, Lulu should be picked, and I'm so surprised we haven't seen Kog'Maw at all, especially now Tristana is out. Tristana is banned, so maybe we will see some Kog'Maws coming in. Happy to see that Lulu is remembered by these fine folk because, sure, Lulu has had some disappointing performances and Lulu has had some great performances. I think it comes down to who wields it. Alright, we got the Lulu and the Kog. I like it. I like it a lot, especially against Ryze. I think Ryze can run into a lot of problems. And I just think in quarterfinals we saw that Kog'Maw was so unbelievably broken. Like Kog'Maw was winning game after game. He was just freaking power spiking so hard on Ginsu, and then, he was just stronger than the enemy. So the main thing here for SKT is that RNG, they chose to pick Ryze instead of picking AD or Lulu, and I think that's a mistake. They should have went Jarvan Lulu, 100%. Because right now, Ryze into Galio, they have other picks into the Galio, so it's fine. They don't need to necessarily pick the Ryze. They have the Malzahar. They could have potentially just picked Talia. So the main thing here for SK Telecom, they have jungle pick that they need to pick, but they will just ban Taric. I think 100% they should ban Taric, and then they should ban Shen, and then they should be happy with their bans because Taric and Shen are going to be the most clutch picks for RNG. And then from top lane, just blind pick a Cho'Gath and be happy with it. RNG looking at potential bans for the jungler. It could be Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix could be a fine one. What else? Gragas could be fine. Nidalee is the ban. I don't think Peanut's gonna be allowed to play Nidalee. Not gonna happen. Holy shit, this referee looks badass. Expecting a Taric ban. Cho'Gath is the ban. Alright. I don't think Cho'Gath ban is good. SK Telecom are going to be the ones blind picking top lane. And, potentially SKT could go for a blind pick Gnar here. Jace is out. Blind pick Gnar together with this team could be fine. Looks like some 80 damage is very important. Depends on what junglers Peanut wants to play. RNG should be picking support. Okay. Alright. Soraki. Seen it against Jana, I think once or twice. I think it was World Elite that played it. And RNG are playing the inspired Soraka here from World Elite. And it should have a fine matchup into Lulu as well. Alright, SKT are just going for Gragas and Gnar. And it was very important that they had some physical damage in there, because otherwise it would just be full AP and it wouldn't be that great. And the magic resistance from RNG would just be too cost efficient. So Gnar is the blind pick with Cho'Gath out and Shen out. I think these are the two tank top laners that do the best into Gnar. Lemmy is probably going to go for a Maokai here. That's what I'm expecting. Ooh, forgetting about the Rumble. Forgetting about the Rumble big time. Rumble was fantastic. Fantastic against Kog'Maw Lulu. I like it a lot against Kog'Maw Lulu. Two very immobile champions in the sense that they can't easily get out of Rumble. Like, sure, they have a lot of move speed, but I think Rumble is a great pick here. It works together with the Jarvan very well, and I think it can do a lot of work here. Rumble is a champion that I forgot completely. The main thing here is that SK Telecom, they should be able to win the split later on in the game. It's a big question mark here because Kog'Maw Lulu, definitely I feel like they outperform Twitch and Soraka. The main difference I feel is that Twitch has the potential of potentially like killing Lulu before anything happens, and Soraka can just stay back and always convincingly apply Ardent Sensor. A lot of things are hinging now on Peanut, and Blank was heavily underperforming in the previous game. You know, let's be honest, his Zac was riddled with mistakes. And back to the draft, you know, Kog'Maw Lulu, I think lane-wise, should lose against Soraka Twitch. I think Soraka Twitch should win, but not by a wide margin. We'll just have to pay attention to it. I think it matters a lot that RNG have been performing better than SKT as well this time around. But I think Soraka should win this lane matchup. Otherwise, I think it's not that great of a champion. I think the early ganks from RNG should be directed towards the Galleon mid lane, the root up from Rise with the EW, and just Jarvan EQing in on towards him, and sure, Galio can just W a lot of that damage and be happy with it, but it should still be the target of where RNG apply pressure. Because if they manage to get this advantage again onto Jahu, it's going to matter a great deal. I think it's going to be very hard for SK Telecom to kill the Kog'Maw later. I think Kog'Maw can also itemize with Send. I think that's a big deal against Rise and against Rumble. So we just have to pay attention to Bang's items and what he chooses to buy. But I think, I'm trying to compare the comps, and I feel like SKT have a lot of tools to create early game pressure, and I think their late game is very strong too, so I'm going to lean towards the blue side draft in this one. All in all, SKT just, they have a weaker bot lane draft, slightly, in the sense of the lane phase, but it's such a small margin that I think it's completely ignorable. Faker now on his 4th game of Galio. Imagine that. This is gonna be, if SKT lose, then Thorin's gonna be like, Coma, put Faker, the greatest player of all time, on Galio. He is hurting esports history. I don't know. I think that argument can be made. It's like Galio is OP champ. Let's be honest, everyone can agree that Galio is OP champ in his current state with the AP crap, and also in the state he was in at the World Championship. He's such a powerful champ. 2 high base numbers. MLXG now on the invade on Peanut. It's a good one because he did in fact have information, and Peanut just MLXG gets the wolves and latches on to Peanut. The main thing is that the clears from the blue side teams have been very similar all the time. They have looked like this most of the time, and MLXG gets the vision on Gragas next to the Raptors. Peanut walks away. There's one big one living, and let's see now if Peanut is going to get cancelled by Twitch and Soraka. By the looks of bottom, I don't think they're in position to do so. They didn't create any heavy pushes in, and there's also a cannon wave. They need to push the wave before in order to be in position to contest this, and they're just giving this up for MXG. He's going to pick up the blue buff and find an angle, and let's see now if Peanut is in time. He's in time, no problem. Twitch and Soraka are going to try to find Peanut here, but it's all good, Soraka and Twitch, they're not going to stop this rabble rouser from approaching his own side of the map. I don't think RNG's bot lane could have done anything about this Gragas doing blue. But in the end, the outcome is that MLG does in fact get enemy wolves, and Peanut doesn't. So it's blue buff for blue buff, but MLG gets his own puppies. Rumble should be able to pressure Gnar early on. I think this matchup shifts later on. It depends on the itemization of Huni as well. If he goes for Hex Drinker, or what kind of MR he itemizes, Spectre's Cowl. If he gets that early, or if he rushes Black Cleaver, I think the itemization matters big time. I think if anything, he should go for the early MR so he can actually start snowballing this matchup earlier than with the usual build. Relic Shield on Uzi, which is going to obviously give him a small advantage. It's a cannon wave, so Rice shouldn't lose that much under the tower. I think he's going to lose one melee before the turret starts hitting the freaking cannon. I think Zhao should be fine and in position to kill the cannon. So he loses one CS, no problem. Maybe he didn't even lose that if the cannon just got aggro from the turret right away. So MSG gets spotted. Peanut is on bottom side. Peanut, of course, needs to path on the bottom side again because his top side camps, he's assuming that everything is dead from MSG. And they got killed pretty late, so they're going to spawn at around like 5 minutes, 5:30. Pathing into bottom side, and it's a big deal here that Faker actually spots him. Faker pushes in, and I think he's taking some risks here in mid lane by trying to push out the wave. And he's trying to just push out the wave, and let me just check. Right, everything's good. He's trying to push out the wave, and of course there's a chance that MSG just ganks into mid lane. Gragas tries to dive bottom, but all it does is force some Uzi barriers and a heal from Ming. Wolf is forced to flash off and also heal, and the trade-off is not that terrible. Question is if MSG can do like a return thing, and when the map shifts again, if he can create something. But right now, you know, the situation is pleasant for SK Telecom because it doesn't seem like MSG is going to be able to accomplish much topside besides taking camps. Peanut is going to fall a bit behind though because the camps on bottom side are spawning a lot later. He only took blue buff, right? He only took blue, and MSG took the Gromp now. Could have potentially also taken the Wolves. I think that could have been very good. Jao with a lot of pressure in mid lane. I think this Rise is shaping up to be a very good pick into Galio. I think both times we saw the matchup, then it's been like massive. And it's also important to remember that Faker in both cases was pressured by the jungler. You know, MSG wasn't showing this entire time. He was taking the enemy jungle camps, and I just want to see who took the Wolves here. And it seems like Peanut just secured them without any issues. And I think MSG should have been able to secure them. Faker in the position now where he's getting smashed in the mid lane. Could potentially see a play coming in here from RNG where to use the fact that they have priority, but by the looks of it, Jao just wants to base. Jao is doing fantastically here in the 1v1, and Galio is having a lot of problems. Kog'Maw and Lulu getting that gank towards put them in a more healthier position, and them being even is all they want to. The only thing they can ask for is just going even. Because I feel like the longer this game goes on, the better. But RNG need to look for that play through mid lane into bottom and put Twitch in a position where he's ahead. Yeah, it matters a great deal as well that Uzi does have relic shields. We could potentially see a situation where he bases at 80 CS and just gets Hurricane straight up. That's something that we've seen frequently with Twitch players. They just base for that Hurricane right off the bat. And no, seems like he's just going to go for a BF sword base into double longsword. Alright. They could have potentially waited longer. Let's see now. Xiaohu with the mid lane priority works together with MXG on the top side. While RNG secured enemy blue, it gives Faker an opportunity to base here, gets cancelled, and all of a sudden that opportunity is gone. Such a big deal when you get these cancels off like that, because there's usually the windows you can base efficiently and are very slim. And after that cancellation, Faker is also forced to stay. Ninja Tabi ready on Kog'Maw. I wonder now if the Relic Shield is just not gonna matter because they based before Ardent Sensor. So maybe, just maybe, it's not gonna make a difference here for RNG that they have Relic Shield on to support. Galio has TP. Top laners both don't have TP, they both TP back to lane. Frozen Mallet bias coming in from Gnar, and Bang finds MXG and chunks him out and forces him out. Very good play here that when you know that the enemy jungler is coming in, you, instead of trying to contest the wave in bottom, when you spot Twitch and Soraka clearing the wave, you can instead look for the enemy jungler in your own jungle. And usually they want to find an angle, and if you chunk them out or even kill them sometimes, then that's good enough for you to be safe on your own turret. But Galio also has TP, and diving is not that easy at this point in the game. Faker now TPing back into mid lane, but I think Rise is completely content with this. This is not a big deal. Xiaohu doesn't have any cleanse though, and Peanut E's in, and Flash. Okay, this is strange stuff. Very strange stuff from both teams. I don't know if SK Telecom have enough damage. Maybe that's why Peanut is not committing all the way. Because Flash comes in and MXG's play is completely useless. I don't know if yeah, I'm just considering here Peanut if he should E-Flash and then ult him away, but I think Xiao would survive, and Peanut saving his cooldowns is probably better in this case. But maybe, just maybe, he should have just ulted MXG here. Because MXG flashed over the wall, right? And then he only has EQ to get away, and if he ults him, maybe, just maybe, it's enough to kill him. I think MXG heavily overextended there, and maybe that's where Peanut could have gone for the punish. Huni seems to be in a great state up top. Being slightly ahead on CS is more than you can ask for at this point in time for Gnar in this matchup. Bottom seems to also work out in favor for SK Telecom. MXG with half HP gets pushed out, no flash on him. Doesn't have EQ either. Oh, he Qs the flag again. Interesting player from MXG. Gets knocked away, you know, and then he Qs the same flag. He just Qs the same flag right there, and it's a beauty what he does here. Flag mechanics. Lemmy getting heavily pressured by Huni. Rumble being used on the wave, and it seems like Huni's already reached the point where he's pressuring the Rumble really, really hard. And that's a really big deal. It's a really, really big deal. Well, that's a 2v2. Let's take a look now. So Jarvan has no flash. Both summoners ready on SK Telecom. MXG, like the target to go for is MXG for sure. He doesn't have any MR. The Galio comes in. Holy shit, the fucking Soraka ult heals so much. Okay, is it the Rise heal at the same time? Yeah, it's a Rise heal at the same time and Soraka ult, and that puts MXG in the top percentile of HP. Faker now is in a bad position because he took a lot of damage during that trade from Rise and from Jarvan. And Jarvan just popping potions to get back up. Ooh, Peanut gets it in the end. My goodness. Oh, this wasn't the fight they could take. I just feel like whenever they're hitting Rise, it's just not possible. If they're hitting Rise, it's just not the winnable fight. Like MLG is not taking damage. It's like the W lands, and then boom, that was attack from Rise. I don't know, man. Now I'm beginning to think about, you know, the Gragas Galio combo, and if they could have just created something earlier so they can rely more on their base damages. But Rise being as beefy as he is at this point in time, this just means that Galio and Gragas are never going to kill him. MXG is the target, and even he survives for a very long time and doesn't have flash in this case. And looking back at it, Peanut's the one with the red buff. Ultimate lands to interrupt the CC of Gragas, then he EQs out just in time, and Faker just doesn't have any mana here. I think maybe the issue is as well that Faker was getting heavily out-traded earlier on, and Xiao has played mid lane very, very well, and the lack of mana on Faker is a big issue there. Because Faker's coming in this with no mana. Like, let's see what spells Faker uses. So he uses a W, auto attacks, ease, and then there's nothing. He just doesn't have mana for more. No mana for more. So that's what makes this play bad. Otherwise, MXG could have potentially died. He did have EQ out, so he could have maybe EQ'd out earlier if Galio had more mana. Because I feel like RNG only took this fight because of Faker's low mana pool. Because otherwise, there's no reason to commit like this with them being so low. They also, like the enemy team, also didn't have Gragas ultimate on cooldown. All right. Finally, we get a base from Faker. He gets the adaptive helmet. Quite neat against Rise, but then again, not so much. Like, Rise wants to tag in, tag out, and, you know, sure, his Qs do less damage, so it's, you know, it's not horrible. Like, it's good. It's good. You know, against Rumble and against Rise, I think it's legit. It's legit. It's probably the best item. MR item against Rise. I'm just saying that it's not that bad for Rise. Arden has finished on both. Ginsu's Rage Blade is going to be Massive Spike. Hurricane is up for Twitch. He needs to wait for maybe IE before he can compete with the Ginsu. But Ginsu's not finished yet, so that matters. You know, Ninja Tabi was an item the bank spent money on. And topping it now with Frozen Mallet. I'm hoping that Huni turns the matchup on its tail. I think the Rumble ultimate is what is keeping Let Me a bit ahead in CS, because Huni wanted the base without burning TP. Cull is almost finished as well, gold-wise for Huni, and I think Ledmi has nothing to say when it comes to this top side matchup. I'm expecting some MR purchase here from Huni next, instead of the Black Cleaver. Doesn't matter, it is interesting as Rumble. Especially because it doesn't have a lot of armor, so the Black Cleaver is not like super effective as if it would be against a tank. Alright, this is the Rise ultimate coming in. RNG back off, and I feel like RNG, they are much more clever and much more collected when it comes to forcing these situations and forcing these fights. We saw that SKT were in very similar cases like this one, and they just completely misplayed it. Peanut is around bottom side and Faker wants to contribute, MLXG being in mid lane. Gives SKT this window to do something bottom, but Rise and Javan are coming down. Main thing here for SK Telecom is that there's no Rise ultimate, and Galio can always ult with the situation they're putting him. So together with Galio, you know, you can either play through mid lane, and it feels like SKT have reached a point where they give up on that idea. They shouldn't be able to kill anyone, and they're just playing through bottom. And the reason why they can play through bottom is because Galio can still support the fights and be then just in time. Like if Rise is, you know, if Rise is getting mid priority and roaming, Galio can always support that with his ultimate. And that's the beauty of Galio, you know, you can play through him, you can play not through him, and always have a good time. No turret has fallen, but Rumble going bottom is a play because, you know, Rumble ultimate can delay the push of the wave big time. The main thing here is that, you know, the main question here is if Rumble can kill the wave bottom in time, because, you know, RNG swap is suboptimal because Gnar has priority the entire time, and as long as Rise has priority, I mean Gnar has priority, then the wave that they will kill is just smaller, and that's a neat combo right there. Flash not being used by Huni, I think rightfully so, and the route into Soraka Silence route was pretty juicy there, pretty juicy. And the RNG with the swap into top side, they're gonna lose first tower here most likely, and they will get Rift Herald as a prize, as a second prize. And kind of have to ask yourself if Ledmi, like what was Ledmi doing during this entire time? I thought the play was to ult the bottom tower. I thought that was the play, like ult the bottom wave, and when it's coming, just do it. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I think SKT's top tower should be full health, and the bottom tower was chunked out quite a bit. And I don't know, maybe with one wave difference, this could have made like a massive change. So I'm not too sure if Ledmi made a mistake here. If he could have just delayed it, and maybe it would have been better. SKT are staying down bottom. They have some time to work with, and maybe they can hit second, but I don't think it's gonna get enough damage. The next wave is a cannon, so they don't want it to freeze, and they're pushing out the next and hitting the next turret already. And SKT come out of this with the healthier macro decision. I think RNG get a consolation prize of Rift Herald. If they can use this to break mid lane, I feel like they can be happy with the trade-off, and if they can't, then it's not that great. But RNG go for the swap. I don't know. I just thought the idea was that you know, Rumble will ult the wave before first bot tower, and then they aim to get first tower top, and that's the play. And then eventually they TP up top, and then they go for the second top tower, while SKT continue to push bottom. But like this, SKT get turret for turret, and as long as RNG don't get anything important from this Rift Herald, then SKT is in a wonderful position here. Talked about how their comp scales very well, and Gnar he's going to be like quite a menace later on in the game. Even now, it seems like he's going to be able to split push very effectively against Rumble. The main thing here for SKT is that they spike very hard at this point in the game, and you could say the same about RNG, right? It's like it's Rumble and Twitch with 2 items is no weak at all, but I just feel like it's slightly in favor of SKT because they should be the ones being able to get priority. I think RNG need to force somehow onto Gnar, and Gnar is gonna just split push the game out and match Rumble in the bot lane, and Rumble has no turrets now, so Huni is gonna be able to push Rumble all the way in, and it's going to be some good stuff. And on top of that, Kog'Maw is pretty beefy for himself right now. He's Ninja Tabi with Sand. He can sustain a lot of the damage that RNG are going to drop on him. Him having Flash is also a big deal here with the Jarvan. So right now, I feel like coming into the next fight, SKT should have this advantage. I think having Summoners up is a big deal for RNG because they need to do their combo, and the way for Uzi to get pressure in the game is to play with his stealth and keep carrying the wave with Hurricane. I was just thinking to myself if Lulu and Kog'Maw should get priority, but I don't know. I think it's quite even. I feel like Twitch, I have like an advantage in the sense that he can stealth up, walk up to Kog'Maw, hit him a couple of times, and then walk away. Let's see if he does something similar here. Gragas is in position, Jarvan is backing off. I need to just take a step back and just notice when SKT get mid tower, because this happened, and after that this feels kind of odd, no? But then again, like SKT are all in position. Huni can TP, and Bang is super strong. RNG are everyone on RNG is relatively low range, so their wave clear is pretty bad. So if they're like out of position to contest the wave, then it's very easy for SKT to just push. In this case, Twitch is showing up top, and the only way for RNG to defend turrets is to force. Like, they have good ways of forcing, right? They have Rumble ultimate with Jarvan, and but in this case, like, Twitch is showing top, and Soraka is nowhere to be found, and SKT are all in position. They were in position for mid wave. So I'm gonna take a step back further and take a look at what, like, the sequence of what just happened. Like, top tower, like bottom tower falls. RNG are forced to take a longer path into mid. Now it's kind of surprising, when SKT stay to get the turret, and RNG still aren't the team that is first in mid lane. Because here, like, what did RNG actually accomplish during this time where they fap around here? They clear a wave, and they were clearing a wave that was already like slow pushing towards RNG. They recognize they can't defend, or they can't take the top tower, and then they walk away, and I feel like they wasted a lot of time there. If they recognize that they can't take top tower earlier, they should just ignore top wave, rotate into mid, and try to pressure mid before SK Telecom is ready to respond. Which would be the case, right? If they would be walking towards mid, and they would be mid around right now, then they could be pressuring around mid. Sure, Galio potentially could have cleared the wave, and maybe it would have looked different. Like if RNG didn't continue to push top, Galio didn't need to move, and he could just clear the wave, and then RNG rotate into mid lane without a wave. That is definitely possible, 100% possible. But it's definitely also better than this situation where, like, RNG showed that they blue buff and all this fancy jazz. They also force Gnar out, but Gnar recalling, and now SKT having the better position around mid lane is what matters in the end here. Like Nar has TP to supporters in a case where it's necessary, but SK Telecom are just forced out. So we talked about, before we started talking about that scenario in the mid lane tower, RNG losing it when I don't think they need to. The main issue is, once again, RNG's composition is kind of one-dimensional in the sense that they don't have a lot of wave clear, and when SKT catch them off guard, when they catch them in a position where they are 4v3 because someone has to catch a wave, then they lose a lot of pressure, because RNG's tool to get in there somehow and create pressure is to force fights right now. They're going to be losing split push. They're going to lose the side lane game unless Jaho can do some magical things. But as it stands right now, Uzi didn't think about how his Twitch could also do some work in the side lane. But getting mid priority at the same time is difficult. RNG definitely have tools. Let me just rephrase myself, because I noticed I was talking a bit of nonsense there. If we paint out how the game is going to go, Rumble is going to match Rumble's going to match Nar and bottom, and then Rise is going to go top. Rise is going to get priority against whatever he's against. Mostly against, he's going to go mostly go against the Rumble. Rise is going to go against Galio, and then in mid lane, I feel like Soraka and Twitch should be able to get priority, and the goal should be for SKT to find situations where they are grouped, and RNG want to just push in the waves and then eventually move on to also be grouped. So it's just kind of a standard game in general here. It's very standard in the sense that both teams have tools to get mid priority, and bottom should be in favor of SKT at all times, unless RNG find an opportunity where Twitch has space to roam into bottom and potentially kill him, the Nar. But even then, Nar against Rumble, there's not a lot of CC there against Huni to lock him down, and Twitch can't really one-shot him at this point in the game. Sure, with more items maybe he could. But ganking Huni is not the easiest thing to do. Rumble's going up top now. I think might be a mistake here, because I don't know how much he can accomplish. Huni might be caught. I think we saw this already. We saw Huni flashing away and walking away. Rumble being topside. Riftard used in mid lane. Then RNG with the dive. Not too sure if Galio and Gragas can just dive the Rumble. I don't know if Pina was just wasting time. Kind of feels like it did. I'm not too sure if he could make a difference in the mid lane for the mid turret. Riftard already made it pretty low, and RNG could dive that and just take the tower during the dive, and not worry about it at all. So I think, regardless of what Gragas was doing there, I don't think it would have mattered. So maybe walking topside is completely fine if they just decide that there's no way for us to defend mid tower here. Very even game so far, and reaching a point where Twitch reaches 3 items, and then I think it changes the dynamic of what we expect. Ming is getting slowed down by Frozen Mallet. RNG is very split up here, and MLG is caught off guard. This is a bad fight for RNG, and very good one for SK Telecom. MSG is very low on HP. And the MOZ being very low here is a good situation for RNG. Rumble ultimate could be very dangerous. Flash over the wall for Faker becomes a bad one. Flash away from Uzi here. I think he flashes in the wrong direction, which makes it a lot worse here. Huni, you know, afterwards, like looking at this position, Kog'Maw with Storm Raiders just chasing after Uzi and then he dies. Oh my, holy. It's just a defend Kog'Maw comp. Right here. Alright, let's take a step back and just promise where it all started. RNG get mid-wave. SKT walk up. And MLG is in an awkward position. Sorry, Mickey X just wrote to me. I had to just check what he wrote because, you know, we agreed to meet at 2 o'clock and I'm currently in this one. Holy. Alright, so once again, Ryze is bottom. He's walking into mid lane, but he's taking a very bad path. And MLG sitting in this bush is what causes the biggest amount of problems. Soraka and... it seems here like Soraka and Twitch seem to be able to just get away. No problem. And MLG being in that bush is what just causes the biggest amount of problems. He gets caught out here and CC down and gets chunked out big time. After that, SK Telecom are willing to just force this national, no problem. They are very strong at this point in time as well. They have the 2 items on Kog'Maw. Spike is very hard early. They have the Mega on Gnar. But then Uzi flashes. Is Uzi just flashing in the wrong direction here? Or is Uzi just walking up too far in the first place? Because they kind of have to walk up, but then the fact that Uzi is cut off from the team is what is a big issue. Like Rumble could potentially ult here as well. Like he didn't, but Rumble could just ult here in the line, and then I think following into Uzi would be a lot worse. When the Rumble doesn't come down and it's pretty late and they walked up already, and I think the Rumble is just too late. And after Uzi dies, like the main thing here with the flash of Uzi here, it doesn't create a lot of distance between him and Kog'Maw. And Kog'Maw with Lulu Speed can walk up, and after one auto, I think one auto attack, it procs his Storm Raiders, and he just can chase onto him and just kill him. And after that, the Witsend here is doing work. Witsend is fully stacked, no problem. Gali ultimate also lands, and that's like unofficial ace here. And LG was the dead man walking with his HP, and I think from the get-go, you know, RNG, they managed to get mid priority there, and it didn't seem like Twitch and Soraka were taking that big of a risk, and MLG was just sitting in the bush, and SKT are fighting back, definitely fighting back. I want to take a step back and just look at how the waves played out. Right before that, we had the mid lane turret falling, and then Rumble being bottom. I just found it strange as well that Ryze was going bottom. Like right here, Ryze was going bottom to push out, and I feel like that puts you in a kind of an awkward spot as well. I think no TP into bottom makes it strange. Hunu almost got caught, but we talked about the lack of CC. And then RNG with the rotation into mid lane, they tried to dive, but SKT's bot lane get away. And RNG get the mid tower. Talked about how Peanut potentially could have saved mid tower, but in the end, I don't think he could. It was just a question of how, if Peanut's decision to be topside was correct or not. I think whatever he would have done in mid lane wouldn't have mattered. Unless SKT were willing to just fight it under the turret, but the problem was that the turret was too low and potentially could have ended badly for SKT if they start a fight without Galio being there instantly. And then we have this situation where MSG was caught a bit too deep. Alright, and then we are at this position where, you know, Uzi, I think Uzi could have flashed better here. Rumbled could have came down a lot earlier and it would have been a lot better. And MLG is now, you know, he didn't even heal. Like, I don't know if MLG should have just stayed and Soraka just heal him up to full. That should be a possibility, right? Like, if Soraka just heals him up to full now and should be good. I think that would have been like pretty optimal. To be fair, you know, SKT at 25 minutes, you know, their comp is as strong as it will ever be. So even without this chunk out on Jarvan, I don't think this is like a bad play. Because SKT can tank this Nashor forever. They have good Nashor damage. They have the Kog'Maw on 2 items. They're not going to get stronger than this. And Twitch is going to scale harder from this point and onwards. So I think even in the case where MSG doesn't get chunked, I think forcing this Nashor is still like a good play. But SK Telecom now bounce back. We got 2-2 on the horizon. It's looking good now with the Nashor. RNG, of course, they have tools to force. They don't have a lot of wave clear, so SKT might be the ones being able to siege onto the enemy team. You know, their wave clear is not spectacular either, and their combo with Galio is not like super strong. Like Gragas and Gnar don't have like the most OP jump-ins for Galio to jump off of. Not quite sure why SKT are not willing to walk up and hit tower. Okay, now they're willing to. Everyone's showing under the wave, and the kind of engage from RNG is quite predictable. I think it's good anyway to play it patiently because Huni is doing work up top side, so there's no stress there. Huni with the Sterak's gauge, right? Not melee only. Faye going to the dive. Good engage here. Bang does have flash. He stays in. Rumble is huge. Where are the flashes here? Crazy that they are staying in the Jarvan ultimate for so long. For so long they stay in the Jarvan ultimate and the redemption doesn't get used. Where's the redemption right here? It's a very late redemption. Like, redemption should drop the moment it comes out, you know. And you know, Lulu dies using ultimate on Gragas. I don't know, man. SK Telecom, you know, the only way for RNG to solve this is to engage, right? They have a lot of good engage tools, and Nara's killing the wave up top. Like, Faker's decision here to walk up and taunt the Rise is it's crazy. Like, what is he actually doing? He's just exposing his team more than anything. Like, if he's standing in front and you know, he's walking up to Uzai maybe instead, then I feel like it makes more sense. But right now, you know, with his decision right here, he's doing what he's doing right here is whack. You know, he's walking up to Rise and taunting him. I feel like this is quite troll, and then, you know, redemption doesn't get used, and I don't like that Wolf is standing so close to Kog'Maw. Like, why is Lulu walking up so far? Like, why is Lulu walking up so far? Like, he's cuddling the Kog'Maw. And in a case where, you know, they are not crumpled up together, then this engage is not that terrible. You know, they can survive it. Like, Kog'Maw can survive it with the Lulu ultimate, with the redemption, with the Galio ultimate. He can survive 100%. But when everyone's crumpled up like this, and Wolf is not using his abilities, then it's a problem. And I think Faker walking up to taunt Xiaohu was also a big issue here. Like, he shouldn't be doing this. He's on the wrong side, and he should be walking towards Uzi, if anything. And You know, they just get barbecued together. They all have flash as well. You know, an easy solution would be to just flash because they were stuck in the Jarvan ultimate and got a bit too greedy. And the combo comes in hot from RNG. Like Rumble still has a lot of AoE damage, and RNG got kind of the super Twitch blender in the Jarvan ultimate. Let's take a step back now. SKT are continuing to pressure. They have the Gnar winning the split and Galio matching in bottom. Let's take a step back, and I think we just came out of a replay, and that's what happened. SKT did save their flashes, right? So they're still relatively safe if they want to use those. Let's see how it progresses into the next fight. Like Twitch is reaching some pretty heavy items now, and Twitch is going to be very dangerous. And Twitch is something that is hard for SKT to kill. They don't have the same amount of engage that RNG do. Sure, they have the Galio, but they don't have anything to deliver the Galio. And some more about Kog'Maw kind of controlling the pace of the game. Rumble ultimate is quite well placed. Voice F is ticking away as well, but this time around Redemption is used to heal that up. Big weakness for Rumble is that there's so many AoE heal items and shield items that make him a lot worse. Still a decent champion. It's the same thing over and over. RNG just need to look for the engage. There's no Rumble this time around though. Huni's quite low. No Mega. Xiaohu trying to do some damage. Has the Void Staff. Uzia is getting completely demolished by Kog'Maw. Holy moly. Looking at this. Bang is just walking up to him and then boom, 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 spitting at him. Storm Raiders popping and Kog'Maw is just broken. Look at this. And then you have to kind of argue, think about the point here that Uzia is just taking unnecessary risks by walking up from this angle. Like, is it correct for him to walk up from this angle and look for the support? I didn't expect him to get that smashed by Kog'Maw, but to be honest, he can't really shoot back because, if he shoots back, he's gonna get run over here by an entire SKT's roster here. So right here, he's getting chased by Kog'Maw with Storm Raiders and Red Buff and Lulu speed. Like, this happened once already for Uzia, where he died like this, and Uzia should be here and looking for the opener together with his team, waiting for the Jarvan ultimate where he can pop off his own ultimate, and right here he just dies when he doesn't need to. That's just about it. I think going for the flank doesn't make any sense. Kog'Maw just moves faster than you, and SKT potentially could finish here even. They have a wave TPing onto the turret, and Bang pulling off a good Kog'Maw game. So this is very, very good in the sense that SKT show some diversity in bot lane. I think I'm happy we see the Kog'Maw and Lulu come back. I think it was really strange that we saw none of it in the early games. Like the first 3 games we didn't see Kog'Maw or Lulu, and now it's back in the mix. The Galio now on a 2-2 record here for Faker in the series. Let's see if we see a 5th game of Galio. That is the main question, but a good bounce back here for SK Telecom. I think Peanut was very active. He made things happen. And then he was pressuring down bottom. And then the main thing here, I'm trying to remember back what just happened. SK Telecom committed to this turret trade. Or RNG went for the swap at a bad time. Gnar was pushing in the wave and had priority against Rumble, which makes the swap a lot worse for RNG because they have no wave when they come up top, and SKT had a wave to work with. Rumble didn't ult it. Maybe they could have secured first tower if he did. I'm not too sure. Maybe, just maybe. And they didn't do that. And after that, SKT, even though they pushed second bot wave turret, they still managed to get mid priority, while RNG actually accomplished nothing. Like, they didn't take the second top turret, they didn't get mid priority, and I think this was a big deal. Because off of that, SKT, you know, after they tried to gank the enemy Gnar and the enemy jungle, Twitch was being sent up top. Gnar was in base, but he has TP to support any type of fight. And then, you know, onwards, SKT all of a sudden had a 3 turret advantage. And that mattered a great deal, I feel. And then there was this strange situation where Ryze was being sent to bottom to clear like half a wave. And then he was just out of position. And then MLG was also getting caught. And SKT's comp is just so strong. I feel like Kog'Maw, Galio, and Arden support seems to be like the shit. You know, I feel like it's the thing that is the closest to having a freaking, whatchamacallit, like, it's the thing that is the closest to having like Kalista. You know, the main reason Kalista is permabanned is because her lane is good, and you know, the way she kills Nashor is just crazy. And sure, Kalista is different because she can actually smite the Nash and it's impossible to steal it, right? It's close to impossible to steal it away from Kalista. But SK Telecom, they have like this Kog'Maw, and Galio is securing Kog'Maw's early game with his presence from mid lane, even though like Xiaohu had priority most of the time. And then Kog'Maw is very good at taking Nashor and spikes very hard in the mid game. I think Ginsu's Kog'Maw, whenever these like S tier ADKs have been playing Kog'Maw, then it's just such a different different kind of presence in the game. You know, Asian Kog'Maw just does more damage, I feel. And as it stands right now, SK Telecom 2-2, gonna head into the next one. It was a crazy game, and that's it. You know, we walk into the 5th game. We will see what happens.